Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A Macomb County School District closes its doors after a threat, and the closure is leading to more questions from parents. Glad you're with us tonight at 6. The superintendent of Richmond Schools says a written note was found when staff returned from the holiday break.
The specifics of the threat have police concerned about the safety of one family in particular. They say the note included anti-Semitic remarks and targeted a specific employee and their family. Police are reviewing security camera footage as they investigate who made the threat. The target has also been notified. The superintendent was already planning to cancel classes today because of teacher shortages. Megan Woods joins us live right now. Megan, you talked to parents tonight who are really frustrated with this.
They are. Kimberly, we spoke to several parents who want to remain anonymous, and they say their heart goes out to that staff member who was targeted in this threat, and that they have concerns about these staffing shortages and why teachers are leaving in the middle of the school year.
We need this information sooner than later. We need transparency. Be honest with us about what's going on.
Richmond Community School District parents say first they were told school was closed Tuesday because of a building issue. Later, they get an email from the superintendent about staffing shortages and an administrative staff member receiving a personal threat. Parents are worried there's more to it.
It can't be COVID putting our teachers out. There's a bigger picture here that somebody needs to step in and take care of.
Another mother says the shortages don't come as a surprise, but a disappointment.
I saw on one of our Facebook pages that multiple teachers were leaving prior to the return to break.
She says her daughter has had a substitute teacher for the last 2 months, and her grades are slipping. The threat to a staff member and their family is the icing on the cake.
Not only are our staff members in danger, our students are also in danger, so I don't want my child in school right now.
So the question remains, what's next for these parents and their children?
What's next is I might be looking at a new district for my daughter.
The superintendent in that letter says that these staffing and teacher shortages are something that's happening across the state, and during holiday break they had interviews, they started processing new hires, and this the rest of the week off helps them prepare their lessons for when students return. Now, as for that threat, Richmond police are investigating, but to be clear, it was just targeted to that one staff member, not the school district, not students. And so if you have any information on that threat, you're asked to call Richmond Police. Live in Richmond, I'm Megan Woods, Local 4.
Certainly concerning. Okay, Megan, thanks. Devin.
Buffalo Bills tonight are saying safety Damar Hamlin is showing some small signs of improvement. Of course, he collapsed on the field during Monday night's NFL game. Emergency workers used an automated external defibrillator, or AED, not once but twice. This life-saving device is becoming more common all over the place, and that includes our state, particularly in schools, thanks to a grieving father. Rod Maloney spoke with him today about his crusade to change how we prepare for cardiac emergencies. Rod.
Yeah, good evening, Devin. His name is Randall Gillari, and he's an attorney in Troy. He was the father of a 15-year-old daughter who went here to Troy Athens High School. She passed away, sadly, at an athletic event, and he and his wife decided that they were going to change a culture in the state of Michigan, and they have done so impressively.
When we lost Kimmy, no schools had AEDs in them. It just wasn't done.
15-year-old swimmer Kim Gillari signaled that she wanted out of the match strangely and climbed onto the pool deck and then collapsed. A cardiac nurse and a practicing cardiologist gave her CPR, but it simply wasn't enough. Kim had an undetected heart condition known as hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a thickening of the heart muscle lining. Randall believes an AED could have saved her life. So,
at the funeral, we decided to start collecting money to donate AEDs to high schools.
Kim attended Troy Athens High, and it became the first school to get an AED from the Kimberly Ann Gillari Foundation.
Ultimately, what we wanted to do was save somebody else's Kimberly.
And now there are about a half a dozen across Troy Athens, and medical trainer Brian Baines tells Local 4.
It's a huge plus for us that work in the field, in the medical field, with athletics.
So far, the foundation has distributed nearly 900 AEDs across the state, improving the technology and raising the standards all along the way. So far, they can track 9 lives saved as a result. As for whether Randall believes Kimberly would be proud,
I'm pretty sure she would be.
and I think you can say that all of us are at this point, knowing what it is that he has been through along with his family in doing this. Now, I can tell you that 2 of the 3 lives that were saved in 2022 were students. A third was an adult umpire at a game. And one of the things that Randall now says has to happen is to make sure that the training for this stays in place, but also that schools become what they call heart smart schools, making sure that anybody who has access to the AED and been trained on it is ready to go as soon as that happens, because they've only got about a minute to get this right. And he says they need to keep up the standards, and they're working on that. Back to you.
Rod, of course, we're just a few days into the new year. Do they have donations scheduled for 2023?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that we're seeing is supply chain problems are now causing difficulty for the AEDs. It takes about a year to get one of these in, and right now there were 13 schools that they want to get AEDs to. The plan is to get them this year if, in fact, they can get their hands on the devices.
Let's hope one more supply chain side effect. All right, Rod. The House of Representatives is going to reconvene about 2 hours from now as the standoff over the next Speaker of the House continues.
Congressman Kevin McCarthy suffered defeat in 3 votes today. He's failed to get a majority of the votes in a total of 6 times in the past 2 days. 20 conservative holdouts are still refusing to support him, instead backing Florida Representative Byron Donalds in all 3 votes today. McCarthy is refusing, though, to bow out.
I still have the most votes.
I didn't come to D.C. being interested in becoming Speaker of the House, but I also understand that part of my responsibility is to make sure that our conference gets to a point where we are doing the things in an effective and constructive way, that we campaign on back home.
Until a speaker is elected, new members cannot be sworn in and committees cannot be formed. The House has adjourned until 8 tonight. We'll have an update for you streaming live on Local 4 Plus at 10 and back here on the news at 11.
General Motors is taking back the title of America's top automaker after a jump in sales. GM says it sold 2.27 million cars in the U.S. in 2022, so that's up 2.5% from the year before. Title had been held by Toyota, but the Japanese automaker sold just over 2 million cars in the U.S. last year. Pickup trucks and SUVs made up nearly 50% of GM sales.
Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley will go before a judge tomorrow for a hearing. Every month, the judge must decide if the 16-year-old should stay in the Oakland County Jail or be transferred to a juvenile facility. Last year, Crumbley pleaded guilty to all 24 counts against him, including first-degree murder and terrorism. All right, lots of excitement for the matchup between the Lions and the Packers this Sunday, right here on Local 4, may we add.
If you should want to travel to the game, you better beware. Fake tickets being posted online by scammers who are looking to rip you off. Our consumer investigator Hank Winchester is already finding some of those. He's live at Ford Field. These tickets aren't cheap either, Hank.
Devin, we're talking about hundreds of dollars. As you mentioned, it's a big game. I personally think the best seat in the house is on the couch on Sunday watching Local 4. But fans who want to travel, we have an important warning for you tonight. It all started with this email I received from Joyce in Pittsfield Township. Hi, Hank, big Lions fan here. My husband and I are looking for tickets online. One man on Craigslist offered us a deal, but he wants full Zelle payment before he delivers. I'm concerned. What do you think? Joyce, I read your email. I'll tell you exactly what I think. Big scam. Do a quick search on Craigslist today and you'll find some ads that seem a bit shady. Few details, lots of money needed for these tickets. Beware.
Ticket scams are rampant right now because it is such a go-to game. And it means a lot to our Detroit Lion fans.
Melanie Ducanel is with the Better Business Bureau here in southeastern Michigan.
What they're doing is they're selling online tickets. Now, you don't know the ticket seller. You don't know if they're real tickets. And unless you're buying directly from Lambeau Field, I would be very wary.
Now, there are tickets being sold right now on legitimate sites like Ticketmaster and StubHub. When paying, best advice, use a credit card. It offers you more protection if you do get ripped off than a debit card. And keep an eye on those big service fees. They can really add up.
Those organizations are great, but those additional fees are killer. So be aware that the cost of the ticket may be, let's say at Lambeau, $250, maybe $300, and then there's another $200 worth of fees.
Back out here live at Ford Field in downtown Detroit, we did just do a quick search online. There are tickets available on sites like StubHub, Ticketmaster. The cheapest seats that we found for the big game, around $200. But as Melanie pointed out in that story, you add on the service fees, the other taxes. The cheapest seat we could find at Lambeau, about $300. We're live here tonight downtown. Hank Winchester. Help me, Hank, back to you.
Stiff, but a pilgrimage to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field is on the bucket list for a lot of NFL fans. All right, Hank, quick reminders. We mentioned you can watch the game right here on Local 4, the Sunday night game this week. And how about those Lions getting a primetime game after all year not having one? We're going to get you ready for the big game with a special right after Local 4 News at 6. Bernie and Jamie are both going to be at Lambeau to get you ready for kickoff.
Going to be exciting.
Thriller. Going to be chilly there.
That's what I was going to say. Don't even want to talk about what the weather's going to be like there. Probably nothing like what we're seeing here tonight, Kim. I mean, the 50s.
No, it's not in the 50s in July, I don't think.
Right.
It's going to be cold, but I have to tell you, it could be a lot worse in Wisconsin in January. I'll show you the forecast for Lambeau Field coming up in the main weather in just a few minutes. But right now, let's focus on our nice weather here. We got rid of that fog and even a little late day break or two of the sun, which was nice to see in some spots. 48 in Detroit, 43 in Howell. Now, if you live in Howell, it was a little different day for you as temperatures did not get out of the 40s, but in some spots, you made it into the mid to upper 50s. I'll show you why in just a moment. But right now, let's talk about visibility. It's not an issue tonight. Fog is gone, which is a nice welcome change. We don't expect it to develop overnight tonight, but we do expect cooler air to settle in. 46 now in Mount Clemens, 44 in Pontiac, 48 at Metro. Now this afternoon, Metro got into the upper 50s because that warm front that was trying to lift northward yesterday finally made it across the Ohio border, and we had some very mild temperatures today. In fact, in the last 24 hours, it was 58 at Metro, 61 in Toledo, 60 in Lima, but then you go up to Flint and they were in the low 50s. So to keep track on all these changes that we have going on in our weather, the best way to do it is to download the free Forewarn weather app. It's just, you have everything just in the palm of your hand, and it's also in your favorite app store. Just type in WDIV and download the free, did I mention it's free? Forewarn weather app today.
All right, Kim.